Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. I hope all you guys are awake. I hope you are awake because we got an early game today, ladies and gentlemen. The game starts at 1 p.m. It's now 12 p.m. I know some of you were just waking up. Some of you guys been up. I know me, I'm going to be honest with you. I just got up. Well, I got up about 2 hours ago. I didn't go to sleep until about 6 o'clock in the morning, though. But I'm up. I'm ready to go, man. We're going to talk about this Knicks versus Celtics game tonight. Or today, this afternoon. You know, we already got a chat full. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. You see who we got in the chat here already? We got Stephanie. We got Andy. We got Prince. We got Chop. We got Divine. And let's go ahead and let's break this down, man. Let's break it down. Andy, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Panel in the chat and you, Sim. I'm happy to be on at this time. It's 6 p.m. here in Poland for me, so it's going to be perfect timing. I'm going to feel just like you guys through the whole season.
Yeah.
Watch the game at 7 p.m.
Right. Exactly. That's got to be good for you. You got to stay up till 3, 4, 5 o'clock. I don't know. Normally what? You watch the game at what?
Yeah, it's
3 o'clock in the morning.
It's 1:30. So it's 1:30 in the night basically when I watch it live, right? So
right.
Last games I didn't watch it live, but previous years I didn't miss a game basically. Maybe some Christmas or whatever, right? So that was wild, and it goes almost 3 hours. So it's like 4 a.m. and then I hit bed for 2 hours, and then wake up for work. So, it took a toll on my body this season.
Yeah,
I'm getting older.
Did.
I just feel I'm getting older.
Yeah. Stephanie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Shout out to you, Sam, the chat, the panel. I feel like Andy, I could probably make the post game today. After the games, I'm tired. I'm falling asleep. So I think I can make the post game today. And looking forward to today's game. See how we bounce back. I think the Cleveland game, I'm starting to think this is mental at this point. I'm not sure if that was a talent issue against Cleveland. I think maybe there's some discouragement amongst the team. Obviously, I'm not sure, but I'm wondering. And so I'm looking to see what type of energy they bring to the game today.
Yeah, exactly. I got that written down as one of my keys, bringing that energy, bringing that intensity for 48 minutes. I think that's been one of the areas that, we've lacked, especially when we go into a scoring drought. We begin to hang our heads, drop our shoulders, we have these, a look on our face like, damn, here we go again. I think it's important that they stay in it, stay focused, right. Keep that energy. And it can be hard when you're on, when you're on a losing streak and you start to, mess up in the game. It can be hard to keep that energy, but, you got to fight against nature a little bit, Divine?
Good morning, good afternoon to the chat, to the panel, to all the participants. You, Sam, big up to Nothing But Knicks. Real quick on a side note, next couple of days I'm gonna drop a video on Knicks Real Talk, just a little promotional video that I'm bringing into the thing to get myself started.
Let's get it.
Knicks Real Talk, man, y'all support the brother, subscribe to the channel and give me some feedback. But anyway, on the game, man, I think hopefully we have a bounce back game, man. I'm not discouraged by the Knicks yet, man. There's a lot of teams that's still 2-8. I think made the playoffs last year, so I'm not too discouraged. But I'm looking for a good game, and I hope we come out there and compete hard. And hopefully we can pull out a win, man. But I'm excited about it. Like I said, I want to see what we're going to do today. And I'm ready to go, man. You know how we do pretty bad on matinee games, guys, over the years.
Yeah,
12 o'clock game, Knicks be like, but hopefully we can change that trip. We got 2 in a row, today and tomorrow. You know what I mean? So Martin Luther King Day, we got a 12 o'clock game. And today we got a 1 o'clock game back to back. But there'd be a good chance to pull out 2 good wins, man, to get us back, the spirits back up and everything like that. So everybody hit the thumbs up to the show and everything like that. Let's get it popping, man.
And, to be honest with you, it's not even just a back-to-back. The Knicks play 4 games in 6 days. 4 games in 6 days. This week. So, it's going to be a busy week for them. You know what I mean? It's going to be a real busy week for them. Prince, what's going on, man?
Man, salute to chat, welcome panel, welcome back, you know what I'm saying? Last night I slept decent, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of worried about this game. I'm worried, like Divine said, matinees don't serve us too well. So I don't know if the guys, hopefully they'll be, up for the task early today and this, this evening. We got to figure out a way to funnel Brown, and just keep him in front of us and just don't let him go crazy. I think that's one of the big things for tonight. Tristan Thompson doesn't scare me. Hopefully that'll be a better matchup for Mitch. You know what I'm saying? He's not as beefy as your boy Drummond. So maybe Mitch should be able to, kind of play with him a little bit more and be able to hold his own rather than getting bounced around like he did against Drummond. So again, maybe we'll see a better matchup there. I think Julius, I don't think they got nobody who can hold Julius unless they try to do something crazy like put Marcus Smart or something like that to kind of disrupt Julius. But the way Julius is playing, I think is barbecue chicken. I don't think they double him as much. I don't think we see many doubles unless he's really cooking. I don't think Brad Stevens is a big zone guy unless he just feels like he just wants to follow the trend to just get us up out of there early tonight. But outside of that, those are my big worries for the night, Sam.
And, the thing about Boston is they're so tough defensively anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
They may not do a lot of doubling or even go zone. I feel like they probably will do some zone, just because, that's a recipe to beat the Knicks.
Right.
Is to go a little bit of zone, especially if, you get one guy like Julius Randle that really starts cooking. And then if you got RJ, that's playing well too, they might say, hey, you know what? Let's throw a little bit of zone at him and see if we can slow him down a little bit or something like that. But Boston's gonna come and play hard. That's the one thing that automatically. Boston's gonna come and play hard. So you're in for a dogfight, and the Knicks are gonna have to match that intensity. And I know Chop might not be able to say anything because he's driving right now. On his way home from work. So we'll wait for him to get here before we get his insight and look at the game. Before I even get started, just and get into anything behind the game, I just want to know your thoughts real quick, 5-10 seconds. They play 4 games in 6 nights. This is a stretch that could really make or break this team, in my opinion. Could really make or break them, and it starts today. And the reason why I say that is because you're not going to get practice time. You do have 2 days off in a row. Okay, so we play tonight, we play today, then we play tomorrow against Orlando. Then we get 2 days where we can. You can get a little bit of practice in, okay? But it doesn't get the schedule's not getting easier for them, no. They play the Celtics today, then they play Orlando at home, then they go away, and then they go on a West Coast road trip. They go to Golden State Thursday, Sacramento on Friday. They'll be in Portland on Sunday. Then they play Utah on Tuesday. Right? That's next week. This is a tough schedule. Tough schedule. So even when they get this day off, these 2 days off, one of those days are going to be a travel day. Right? One day is a travel day. Like Tom Thibodeau said, they've been holding walk-arounds, not even shoot-arounds anymore, right? Walk-arounds. I should have called that show the walk-around, Prince, because the Knicks are doing walk-arounds, walkthroughs in the ballrooms of the hotel, because of COVID-19 and all this kind of stuff. So it's very hard to get any real practice time in. And if you ever coached AAU or, anything like that, it's tough trying to do a walk-around, a walkthrough in a hotel ballroom. I've been there before. Sometimes you get a huge ballroom, and you can kind of mark some things out. The hotel, if you're lucky, the hotel will let you put some tape on the carpet, so you can put kind of a court out there, and they might even wheel in a court for you. I mean, every year, I go to this huge tournament. It's got to be no less than 400 teams in the tournament, and it's actually in a hotel. And there's about 21, 22 courts set up in the hotel. It's crazy. Yes, it's a huge hotel at the National Harbor in Fort Washington, Maryland. And, they put up like 21 courts. There's some downstairs. There's some upstairs. The lighting is a little bit weird on the courts that are upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in a hotel. Now, I doubt that they're setting up a court for the Knicks. But they might let them wheel in a basket and put some tape on the carpet so that they can at least, be able to do some kind of a walkthrough. But it's hard. If they don't let them do that, it's hard. You got to go down into that, so it's not advantageous for the Knicks right now. And being able to get things, make changes. And so people ask, why are the Knicks not making changes? Why are they not putting someone else in the starting lineup? And those type of things. Well, when you don't have practice time, it can be difficult to make those type of changes because you don't have time to put in the type of sets that you think would work with a certain lineup or to make the adjustments that you think might work with a certain lineup. And I also think that Tom Thibodeau is the type of coach, and maybe he was just the type of person, that's a little bit more like, let me develop some consistency first, right? It's been 13 games into the season. Let me get some consistency with this team. Let everybody understand what I expect of them, in practice, what I expect of them on the court, what their roles are as a team, and then I can start to tinker. Sometimes if you start to tinker before you have your base down, you start to mess things up. I'll give you an example, right? For those who, go out and cut your own grass and do stuff like that. You don't go plant flowers before you cut the grass, right? You cut your grass, get the lawn, you get all the grass cut and do the edges and do all that kind of stuff. And then you start to plant the flowers. Then you do your landscaping. You don't do the landscaping with the grass 6 inches tall. Okay? Because now you got to try to cut the grass around all the flowers and all the stuff that you planted. It's the same type of concept. Right? You cut the grass first, then you plant your flowers and you make it look pretty and nice and all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. You get your base down. Get things stable, make it consistent. And then you start to make changes, right? Then you start to tinker with the lineups and move people around and stuff like that. I think it's that kind of process going on. Let me get some consistency with the guys, make sure people know their roles, know their expectations. Now I can begin to tinker with the lineup. So I it's just my opinion, but for those who are asking, just keep that in mind, when you start yelling to take this guy out the starting lineup and that guy out the starting lineup. Just keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau sees that as necessary. It'll be coming. All right, so before I get back to you guys, I just want to go over some numbers. Then we'll get back to, this group discussion here. Taking a look at some numbers behind the game, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Celtics, as we know, they're a defensive team. They play hard. They play defense. They're going to bring it every time you step on the floor. And what scares me about that is that the Knicks have a hard time scoring the basketball. They average 101 points per game. And the Celtics, even though they haven't had Kemba Walker, who is returning today, average 114 points per game. They both average around 45 rebounds per game, somewhere around 23 or 24 assists per game. The Celtics, they get a few more steals than the Knicks at 8.9. The Knicks get 6.8. The Celtics get a few more blocks. Both teams around 14 turnovers. The Celtics shoot 48% from the field, but the Knicks are shooting 45%. The Celtics shoot 39% from three. The Knicks are at 35%. The Knicks have been better, but they've been dropping recently, dealing with that zone. The Knicks are the type of team right now, they don't want to shoot a lot of threes. They try to shoot good threes when they're open, but the zone sometimes forces them to shoot threes. Now, yesterday, we broke down how the Knicks can break the zone. And if you get a chance, please go look at the video. And I am going to break it up into two smaller sections so you can take a look at those videos. And I showed you bad spacing versus 2-3 zone, and then very, very good spacing versus a 1-2-2 trap zone where the Knicks scored easily without having shooters on the floor. And it all had to do with moving the basketball and hitting the gaps. And if the Boston Celtics go zone, that's what the Knicks are going to have to do. Move the basketball, hit the gaps. Be smart about it. The more they see zone, the easier it's going to become for them. All right, the Knicks, both teams average 47 points in the paint. Both teams average about 12 second chance points. The Celtics, they get a little bit more, a few more steals than the Knicks, so they average some more fast break points than the Knicks. The Knicks average 6.7. The Celtics average 12.6. Celtics are led in scoring by Jason Tatum, who is out due to COVID-19. Julius Randle leads the Knicks at 23.2. Randle leads the Knicks in rebounding. Tristan Thompson leads the Celtics at 8.8. Randle leads the Knicks in assists at 6.7. Marcus Smart at 6. Mitchell Robinson and Robert Williams III both lead their teams respectively in blocked shots. All right. Let me get back over here to the panel. And guys, we see some of the numbers, and I know you talked a little bit about some things that you think we should do. Let's start first with what I just said about the starting lineup, and then go into some of the numbers that I just read off, and then we'll look at the injury report. Go ahead, Andy. Let's start with you.
Sorry. Well, I kind of agree with Tibbs on the starting lineup. I don't see a guy on the bench that's going to change this team so drastically that we might try to, incorporate him in the starting lineup to be such an upgrade and change the whole team around. It's not going to be quickly. It's not going to be Obi, and it's not going to be Kevin Knox, and not to mention the rest of the guys. So. I agree with Tibbs. He doesn't have a ace in his pocket that he's going to throw out there in the starting lineup. The pros of these this kind of stretch is we're going to playing like you said 4 games in 6 nights, and it's going to be if you go further to the next 6 games, it's going to be a 4-game road trip, right?
Right.
I'm guessing we're going to get Alec Burks back, which is a huge thing for this squad. A huge thing because he's the guy off the bench that can create for himself. And when Julius is off the court or we have a problem, Tibbs is going to just point the finger at Burks and say, get us a bucket. And that might stop the bleeding when we are losing, the advantage or, trying to fall back too big. So that's a big thing for me. Also, I think when we are going to be on this kind of a long stretch of hard games, I think Thibs might expand the rotation. And that might be, something like a blessing in disguise, as some of you guys say. That Randall or RJ are not going to be, required to play almost 40 minutes. We're going to test out guys for only a couple of minutes, but maybe some of those guys are going to shine in those minutes. And I'm not saying, Iggy or I don't know, Theo Pinson is going to save the day for us. But maybe, those guys off the bench are going to be guys that use, those extra 4, 6, 8 minutes that they get on the court to produce and to show out. So Thibs going to have that, amount of basketball time, rotations on the court that he can evaluate and, maybe tweak a little bit the rotations, the guy that he's using to play together on the court. And not to mention, Sim, today's Thibs' birthday. So I hope, I'm gonna, when it's gonna be prediction time, I'm gonna say that we're gonna get a W today.
There you go.
we need it. Guys are gonna be like, hey, let's go get this for Coach. Let's get it for Coach. Stephanie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot the original question. But our energy has to. What was the original question?
The original was about, just the, this 4 games and 6 nights.
If our energy is the way it has been, because I'm seeing the Knicks with their heads down, I think they're losing confidence. When you get like that, it doesn't even matter what the game plan is. It doesn't even matter what the rotation is. If you're not confident, if you're not playing hard, if your energy is not good, if you come into the game already down, none of that is going to really matter. So I'm really hoping that the Knicks are just, ready energy-wise, right? And when something goes wrong, that they don't hang their heads and tend to give up. If that happens, I think we're going to be 1-5. But if we keep our heads up and we stay in the game, I still think it's going to be tough for us. I agree with Andy. I don't think the starting lineup matters. I don't think, the bottom line is, are people getting minutes? Mm-hmm. Quickly is getting minutes. He had more minutes than Peyton the last game. Knox, yes, he is very efficient, but he's just, they limiting him to just being in the corner, hitting that shot, because right now that's what he does well. And I'm sure they'll expand his game and expand how they use him as he shows in practice. He can do those other things efficiently. I heard somebody commented that last year he was doing those things. Yeah, he was, but he wasn't doing it efficiently, right? So right now they have him doing what he does efficiently, hitting that corner shot. I'm not against Knox getting more minutes. I'm not against Peyton not starting. I just think in the big scheme of things, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't see it making too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, because none of those guys can play 48 minutes like Kev would like him to do. You know what I mean? Right. You're going to have some substitutions. You know what I mean? And one of the things with, I don't care who starts. I told someone the other day, McCollum, I could care less who starts the game. You can go ahead and start Iggy if you want to. I don't care. You know what I mean? The only thing that matters to me is who is on the court when it's time to try to win the game. That's all that I care about. And who that player is doesn't matter to me as long as that person is producing. Whoever is producing, that's who needs to be on the court those last 5 minutes of the game when it's hanging in the balance. Right. That's all I care about. You know what I mean? The whole starting thing and all of that really doesn't matter. You got to have 5 guys start the game. You can't start it with 4. Can't start it with 3. You got to have 5 guys start the game. That's all I care about. Now, one of the things, though, quickly, and I know people are going to say, well, I'd rather have Elfrid Payton not on the team. Well, guess what? It's not an option. He's on the team. He's going to be here, so get used to it. That's not an answer. When you're dealing with the team that you have, would you rather have that first unit, even with Quickly in it, is going to play slow. He's not going to speed up that first unit, even if he's the starting point guard, which I don't think he is a straight-up point guard in the NBA. He's more of a combo guard. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden make this team play fast, that first lineup. They're not built like that. They don't have the shooters in there to play fast. When you play fast, you got to have some guys who can knock down that open three. That's how you're going to get up and down the floor. That's how you open up the lanes to be able to get up and down the floor, right? Because you got some guys that are a threat. Yes, he can knock it down, but then who else is really going to be consistently knocking it down? It's probably, it's not there. So they're going to play a slower pace. Maybe they play a little bit quicker, but they're still going to play a slower pace. And then you bring Elfrid in with the guys, with the young guys, with Knox, with Obi, right? And then you got Elfrid and Austin Rivers with Knox and Obi. Do you think Knox and Obi are going to touch that basketball? Right? So now you change the rhythm of the young guys coming in. The idea was that the older guys are going to play, they're going to play the game that they play. Then the young guys are going to come in and change the tempo of the game, right? They're going to come in and they're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to make the game faster, right? Put Elfrid Payton and Austin Rivers in with Kevin Knox and Obi and, either, RJ or Mitch, or Nerlens Noel, and see what happens with that lineup. All of a sudden that lineup becomes slow too. Now you have no pace at all. And I know we've suffered a lot of injuries, so you haven't been able to see any kind of a pace anywhere. But last game, you did see those young guys start to be able to get up and down the floor. Obi was back. Quickly was out there with him. Kevin Knox was out there with him. Austin Rivers was out there with him. Right? You started to see that they can get up and down the floor. You put Elfrid Payton with that lineup, you cut all of that off. So you have to think about how those lineups work until we get some different pieces out here on the floor. So, expect the lineup to be the same, ladies and gentlemen, for the Knicks tonight. Guess what? The lineup is the same. Elfrid Payton is your starting point guard, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be out there for at least 20 minutes. So just go ahead and get used to it. Don't feel bad about it. Just go ahead and rock with it. It's going to happen. Reggie Bullock is starting that shooting guard for the Knicks. And then, of course, you got Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. For the Boston Celtics, you got Kemba Walker starting that point guard. Jaylen Brown, shooting guard. Marcus Smart, another shooting guard. So they're, going between shooting guard and small forward. Well, Jaylen Brown, small forward. Then you got Daniel Tice at the center spot and Tristan Thompson at the power forward spot. All right, so, looking at those matchups, again, I'll read that out for you. You got Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Daniel Tice, and Tristan Thompson. How do you guys feel about those matchups? And I'm going to try to get those up on the screen as well. But, Divine, I'll start with you, man. How do you feel about those matchups for the Knicks?
I think, just to get one point before we go to this segment, I just want to piggyback on what everybody said earlier. I know earlier in the season I was talking about it's not about the player. It's better than that player or he should start. I think the only reason I would prefer Quickly starting is this reason. Because of his shooting, he get off to a better start our offense, and that way they don't got to pack the zone on us and we don't play from behind. That's the only reason I see Quickly starting over Payton is because he can knock down that three and it'll keep us in the game or put us in the lead. That way we don't have to try to catch up our defense, and then because our defense is suffering because we're not scoring. I don't think Elfrid Payton is not better than Quickly. I just think Quickly helps to start a lineup because we lack shooting, and if he could pop that three in the first quarter, it keeps us from trying to fight back to catch up to other teams and wear us down deep. That's the only reason I prefer Quickly to start over Elfrid Payton. But on the other note, I just think that Marcus Smart going to be a problem on Elfrid Payton, because that boy is a defense specialist, and that's my concern because he can't shoot the three. Marcus Smart would clamp that boy down, and then it's going to be the zone going to really get us then. So, like I agree with Tip, but I think this here, if the next two games go south, he's going to pull Alpha Payton to start quickly. I guarantee you, because we cannot keep going this route with no shooting in that starting lineup. Only one shooter can shoot the three. We cannot win no games like that. And if Bullock is not on, we dead. So I have no problem with, in 2 games we lose, put Knox in there, put Quickly in there to spread that floor with them non-shooters. And I think we'll see a different outcome in the zone, because now they can't pack it. Knox can hit it. Quickly can hit it. RJ suspect. Randall can even hit the 3. So I think if we don't win these next 2 games, I think Taylor's going to say, you know what? I got to get something in here that's going to help me do something different. Not because they're better than the other player, because it helps the team more better. And that first quarter is usually for the niggas. We cannot stay in the game because we're not shooting. We're going to lose 10 games in a row. So I do think Quickly had that advantage at that point, because they cannot pack that zone. If you leave that boy open, he's going to hit that 3. That's the only reason I want Quickly to start, not because Elton is trash or he's not better than Elton. I think he helps the Knicks starting lineup better. But I think that lineup with Marcus Smart going to be a problem. If they don't get no shooting in there. Jaylen Brown is a defense specialist too, so he's going to give RJ a problem. You know what I mean? So Knicks got to really go out there and go hard tonight, or it's going to be an easy night for them guys tonight, basically.
Yeah. Our advantage is in the front court.
Yep.
Okay, Prince, you want to add into that?
Much else, like I said, I believe truly that, like you said, starting out with the lineups is that, Tom Thibodeau definitely wants to see, and get a guys a good run before he yanks people. He wants a good, good amount of, effort. So again, he can truly judge what you can do and what you can't do. And like Divine just said, I believe, Elfrid's Payton, his time is coming. I just think that Tibbs truly wants to get quickly understanding how to run the offense, how to weather through adversity and things of that nature, so that when he does get out there and you see a Dame Lillard, you see Steph Curry, even if you do get cooked, you still come back and you can still steady the ship so that the team can be successful. So I think we will see changes. The thing with Kevin Knox, I believe his time will come too. I just believe that, I don't really even believe that. I believe what I was thinking in my head is I believe that it's actually unfair, but I'm actually happy that Kevin is growing like that, because again, you could say the same thing for RJ, the way that RJ's playing this year. That's the way Kevin played last year, kind of erratic, just forcing shots up to get 17, 15 points when he got them. Again, RJ's game is a little bit different, but again, I feel like, it is a little slight on Kevin, because again, I'm getting these minutes restrictions. I'm getting this kind of, limit to my game. But again, I believe Kevin can do those things. I just believe that because of the constructs of the offense, he's not going to get out there and pound the ball. Tom Thibodeau's not going to let him do that. It's just how Tom Thibodeau has him playing. And again, he's successful knocking down threes. That's what he's doing right now. So when his game progresses, he'll put the ball on the court. He'll do more things.
I agree.
Did Sim? I think you said something about the up and coming schedule too. And then, like you said, I'll answer that. Our up and coming schedule, I think if I got to put a number on it, just being honest, I think it's a 2-4 schedule, maybe 3-3 if we lucky. I think we can maybe steal one from a Sacramento. But and maybe even Golden State, depending on how they play. But again, we got to go deal with that big fella, and Steph Curry. So again, I think 2-4 at best, 3-3 on a good night, because maybe we could get Utah. I take that back. Portland, I don't think that. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave that one alone, because ain't no way in heck we gonna hold Dame Lillard and CJ.
I mean, we beat. Hey, at the end of last season, we beat Portland. We beat Portland last year. At the end of last season, so you never know. You never know.
I mean, yeah,
I did.
We did.
We beat them last year.
But if I was a betting man, I think that's the game I'm not putting my money on.
Okay. I feel you. They're playing much better this year.
Yeah. I hear you though, because I mean, and you got to think too, and this is to all them the Frank haters. Frank played in that game.
Yeah,
Frank played in that game.
I mean,
what I'm saying?
Portland's playing. Portland is playing much better this year. They're much. Last year they were going through some things and some changes. They weren't playing well. They're playing much better this year so far. So really looking at the matchups.
Yeah, but no, I still give you that though. I give you that.
We looked at the lineups, talked about the lineups, but now you can see the matchups facing them off. Kemba Walker and Elfrid Payton.
Okay.
Marcus Smart and Reggie Bullock. Jaylen Brown, R.J. Barrett. Tristan Thompson and Julius Randle. Normally that would be Tatum and Julius Randle, right? Which would be your premier matchup. And then you got Daniel Tyson, Mitchell Robinson. The matchups aren't that bad if Julius Randle can win his matchup, and then R.J. Barrett can just play well against Jaylen Brown. The biggest is that Kemba Walker and Elfrid Payton. That right there, that's the one. That's the one, because Reggie Bullock and Marcus Smart, they're gonna kind of play both of those guys are the kind of guys that are gonna muck the game up and make the game dirty and grungy. That's what they're gonna do.
3-and-D.
That Elfrid Payton and Kemba Walker matchup, I think that's a key right there. And this is where
the only plus is that.
Go ahead, Andy.
That Steven said that Kemba is gonna have a limit of minutes to 20. So. No, that might be the limit for Peyton as well, but
right. That 20 might be what cooks us.
Right. And
Peyton got to go after him, man. He's not a good defensive player.
Yeah, go at him a little bit. I think that you might, if Quickly gets 27, 30 minutes, something like that, you're going to see Kemba having to deal with Quickly as well, which is going to make Kemba have to move a little bit more. He's going to have to play some defense on Quickly. So, hey, his first game back, I'd put him to work. You got to put him to work. So don't get mad, guys, if you see that Elfrid Payton is trying to penetrate into the lane and shooting that floater, because Tibbs is probably like, hey, let's put him to work. Let's see if he's healthy. Let's see if he can take it. This is his first game back. We might need to put some pressure on him to see if he can, to see what his wind is like. See if his endurance is there. So any of our guards, whoever is also Kemba Walker's guard, might be trying to go at him. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, and what we got to realize that or Daniel Tays or Tristan Thompson, those aren't blocking, guys from the weak side, the help side, or whatever. So we're gonna have a field day in the paint today. I hope, at least. Because that's a key matchup for what I'm looking at when the Knicks play. Last game I said it's going to be a battle in the paint, and we lost it to Drummond alone, and the game went south for us. So I hope this game we're going to have an advantage in the paint and just bully them, really bad in the paint.
Yeah. Hopefully so, because we did. Drummond just killed us. I mean, that was really the big. That was the game there. I mean, Drummond just destroyed us in the paint. It was pretty bad. It was definitely bad. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's on Facebook, that's joining us. Big shout out to you guys on Twitch, Sportscaster, NBKFam.com. Thank you guys for being here. Of course, everyone that's on YouTube, appreciate you guys for being here. We're playing about 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks and the Boston Celtics. I want to take a look at the Knicks injury report for today. Right now, Nerlens Noel is probable. Okay, remember he took a fall against whoever it was we played the other day against. Who did we play?
The Cavs.
The Cavs. That's right. I'm thinking Detroit, but it's the Cavs, because of Andre Drummond. I was thinking Detroit, but
it was Drummond alone. Drummond alone.
Yeah, right. Remember, he took a fall, fell on his back. So he's got a sore lower back, but he's probably going to play. Mitchell Robinson, he tried to dunk it, missed the dunk, hurt his heel, but he's going to play. He's got a contused right heel. Alec Burks is doubtful, and the news on Alec Burks is that he's getting closer. Right now, I think he's, working on his endurance. But, the Knicks injury reports are always a little sketchy. You know what I mean? Always a little bit sketchy. He could, right now he's doubtful for today. Tomorrow he could turn around and be playing. That's what happened with Obi Toppin. That's what happened with Austin Rivers. You know what I mean? It's always a little bit sketchy. But Frank Ntilikina, he's out. Sprained right knee, he's out. And I want to talk about Frank Ntilikina. I want to talk about Frank for a second. And then for the Boston Celtics, Taco Fall is day-to-day with an ankle injury. Carson Edwards, medical protocols, he's day-to-day. Jason Tatum is day-to-day with COVID-19. Robert Williams, his target was January the 16th. We'll see if he's going to be here today. Romeo Langford, he's sidelined until probably early February. All right, so those are the injury reports. Now, I want to talk about Frank, Andy, because I was reading yesterday in New York Post, and what they said is Frank's might not even be close to coming back.
Wow.
Right, might not even be close to coming back because of that knee. It's going to be a little while because he has a sprained knee. Now, something that they said, and this is not coming from the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. So please, do not take this out and say, the Knicks said that Frank has this, that, and the third. This is coming from a reporter from the New York Post, and I want to make sure that I quote this correctly. I just don't like when these words are mentioned when it comes to a player. All right, what he said is that when you have a sprained knee, it's actually a slight tear in your ACL or MCL. This is what the reporter said, not the Knicks. Right? But when someone says something like that, does it scare you a little bit? I'll start with you, Andy, while I'm getting it up so I can read it word for word.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the sprained knee is basically like maybe not a light tear, but it's when you stretch the ligaments a little bit too much than natural, right?
Right.
And if you stretch it too much, it's going to be a tear. So
right.
Basically, we could have a situation here when it can be an ACL, MCL, and whatever the rest of the cartilage ligaments are called in the knee, that are or stretched or slightly torn, but because it doesn't have to be a full tear, right? It can be slightly, and they can decide if they want to operate or not operate it and just wait out. And for that to heal, it might be weeks if they don't want to do the by operation, right? The reconstruction. And I had an ACL reconstruction. I lately realized when I had a checkup that it's torn again. So and I didn't even know when I torn it again. So I think that's why they are not rushing to get it reconstructed, because it's gonna tear more. It's not that flexible like natural. So I think that's why they are trying to keep him away from real basketball contact stuff, so it doesn't get worse and heals like naturally. Probably of course they're gonna have special rehab training and program for him. But I hope it's going to be soon. But like you said, it might be in weeks or in months even.
Yeah. So this is the quote from the article in the New York Post. It said, "It's a sprain," Thibodeau said before the Knicks 106-103 loss to the Cavaliers. "We have to be patient and let him work through that. He's making steady progress. It will probably be a little while longer." Of course, Thibodeau also had a similarly dim view of rookie Obi Toppin's return last Sunday, and he's back, and he was back 3 days later. But Ntilikina's injury looks like a severe sprain, which technically is a small tear in either the ACL or MCL. That's a quote from the New York Post. That scares me a little bit, that Frank's not going to be back for a little while. Not that Frank is going to change your season around, but he was a piece that can play some defense for you, maybe knock down some threes, and a piece that maybe Tom Thibodeau was looking to use before he went out, he was using them. So, we'll see where that leaves us for Frank Ntilikina, man. I don't know. Frank's career has been just riddled with small injuries after small injuries, man. Huh?
It's a sprain. It's a sprain.
Yeah,
it's not a tear. It's a sprain.
No. I get it. I get it. I understand how the sprains work. How you stretch it out, and it can become a small tear. I just wouldn't be surprised if sometime down the line they came out and said that it was a,
Yeah, but
ACL
I'm just thinking about the whole
but,
career, right?
Right.
It's not off. It's not done, but.
Right. You said it's a small. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's been injury after injury with Frank ever since he came into the league, man.
Yeah.
It's been tough for him, and I don't know what are you gonna do. What are you gonna do? My keys to the game. Yeah. And we got about 10 minutes before the start. My keys to the game, what I want to see the Knicks do today, this afternoon. I got 3 keys. 1, I want to see, and they all have to do with the Knicks. I haven't really seen the Boston Celtics play, but I think right now it's really about what are we doing with ourselves, right? I think it's really about that. So I want to see them play a full 48 minutes with intensity. I don't want to see any lapses, and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have bad defensive rotations, and you're going to have things that look bad. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? You got to have a short-term memory, forget about it, get back out there and play with intensity. Once you start to drop your head, you drop your shoulders, you're walking on the court, shaking your head, rolling your eyes, doing things like that, you let the other team know that you're done. Once you start doing those things, man, you kind of lost. The other team knows that you have them, and they attack even more, right? They just got to stay focused, play with intensity the entire game. We got to get back to playing defense, man. I think the defense looked a little bit better, although we had some miscues. Looked better against Cleveland. We got to get back to playing good defense, with good defensive principles. Stop this letting guys go backdoor. We took a look when me and Prince were doing the shoot around. We pointed out, we spotted a time when RJ, had his back to his man, his feet facing, facing the rest of the court. Couldn't see what his man was going to do. Luckily, his guy didn't go backdoor, but if he wanted to, he could have went backdoor all day. Those small little things, how your feet are positioned, instead of flattening out, you got your feet placed in the wrong way. You don't have your head on a swivel. You let your man, kind of sink behind you a little bit. Now you can't find them. All those little things are important to your defense and your offense. But I want to see the Knicks bring good defense today. And I'd like to see, a little bit of variance on the offense. Right now, you kind of know everything that we're going to do on the offensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? The guard's going to come up the sideline, pass it to Julius Randle at the top of the key. Julius Randle's going to swing the ball to the other side of the floor or hand it off and set a screen while he hands it off. That guard is going to try to penetrate the lane at the foul line. If they don't, they'll kick it out to the other side, right? Julius Randle will come off with 2 screens, post up, and then they'll let Julius Randle try to post up. He'll try to penetrate and kick it out to a shooter. That's basically what we do every time we come down the floor. You know what I'm saying? Or you got Mitchell Robinson that gets the ball at the top of the key. He'll straight look to hand it off to the other side. Right? And when he hands it off to the other side, Julius Randle might be on that side posting up, and they'll look for Julius Randle in the post, or Julius Randle might be on the opposite side, and the ball gets swung to the opposite side to find Julius Randle in the post. Right? RJ, he gets those handoffs. Sometimes he can come off those handoffs, and he can shoot it from the elbow. That's basically how they look for RJ, right? Get the handoff, shoot from the elbow, or if he's in the corner, they'll look for, off of Elfrid Payton, off of a screen and roll from Julius Randle. They might find him in the corner. Julius Randle might find him in the corner, and then, of course, there's going to be heavy Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle screen and roll, right? Trying to get Elfrid Payton into the lane, and then that's when he shoots that little floater, or he goes one-on-one on his own, right? Or, they'll get RJ to go one-on-one. But there's not a lot of variance, not a lot of movement. Sometimes you'll see some set plays, where some guys are coming off some screens and doing things like that. I'd like to see Kevin Knox get into a little bit more curl action, get him running off some screens, since he can, he's a good catch-and-shoot guy. I was watching the other night. He does a good job catching it on his toes, the ball on his fingertips, ready to release. It's not as quick as, some of your smaller guys, but he can do it. Reggie Bullock is a catch-and-shoot guy. He's not always efficient, but he's a catch-and-shoot guy. Right? Let's see some of these guys coming off screens. What about Emmanuel Quickly? Right? Well, he doesn't always have to be on the ball when he's in the game. I think he can let Austin Rivers or Elfrid Payton be on the ball. Let Emmanuel Quickly come off of a couple of screens, catch and shoot. He's supposed to be a knockdown three-point shooter. Let's see if we can do that. Another play that we'll probably see from the Knicks is you see, Elfrid Payton or Austin Rivers or Emmanuel Quickly have the ball on one side of the floor. There'll be a double screen at the top of the key, right? It'll come off of those double screens, and then you'll see, one big man a roll to the basket, one big man a pop to the top of the key, and then you have two guys in either corner, and the point guard can find whoever comes open or go to the basket. You see that play. But these are basic things. Real basic things. And I'd like to see, and I get it, I guess you got to start developing some basics first, to build from. But right now we're just too predictable. Very predictable. Devon, what do you think, man? Can we start to bring in some other motions in the offense so we're not so predictable?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think we got to have somebody who's going to get more assists than Julius Randle too. Julius Randle should not be getting more assists than our point guards. We need our point guard to throw that ball around and get it to the open man, because Julius Randle leading the team in assists from the power forward position, that's telling me that our guards are not giving that ball and shitting it around the corner. So I think we do need to do that. For today's game, if we can, they without Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown should do. If they can slow him down somewhat, and believe me, are they going to have a tough game tonight, guys? If you see them breaking it up tonight, don't bash, man, because they playing Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. Them boys can play some defense. They legit. They dogs on defense. So RJ going to have a problem today. But if Quickly and Randall can bring us through what they did with Cleveland, I think we got a chance to win that game, because other than Jaylen Brown, I like Ojale coming off the bench. He's pretty tough. But I think if we can contain Jaylen Brown somewhat, even if you got a double team, because he's the only guy going to get you 30 in that starting lineup, I think the Knicks might pull it out today, basically.
I wouldn't be surprised for the Knicks to pull it out against the Celtics today. Stephanie, you going to get ready to say something?
I hope we can. I mean, the Boston defense is tough, so we got to stay in the game and we have to close. That's what we didn't do against Cleveland.
Right. Exactly. We didn't close. We had the chance. We had the chance right there. We didn't close. All right. Well, what I want to do before we get out of here, I do have a super chat I wanted to get to. Ishmael Rivas, he said, great job as always. Thank you. He said, what's a realistic prediction for the next 5 games? Is 4-1 a realistic possibility? Salute to the chat. So what I like to do is just go around really quick. First, tell me, your prediction for the next week, right? And I'll read off those games, and then your prediction for tonight. All right. So, Andy, I'm going to start with you. Okay. So the next 5 games, of course, we have today. Then we have Orlando, Golden State, Sacramento, Portland. So we'll do the next 6 games, and then Utah. All right. So very, very tough games. All right. So including today, there's 6 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Including today, there's 6 games. What are you looking at over those 6 games?
Yeah, we're gonna have a record of 2-4, and we're gonna win today's game. I don't know which one of those 5 games we're gonna win, but we're gonna get one. As you look at it at the schedule, it's a hard schedule. You don't expect maybe even any of those games to be won. So we got to pull, and we got to be happy with any win we get. So I'm going 2-4, and we're going to win today's game.
Okay. All right. Stephanie?
1-5, the win tomorrow against Orlando.
1-5 with a win versus Orlando tomorrow. Okay, let me see the Orlando Magic right now. They started off the season kind of hot. They're 6-7 now. They on a 5-game losing streak. So, yeah,
I hope
right
I'm
now,
wrong. I hope I'm wrong though.
Yeah, me too. I hope we can get today and tomorrow, and then see what happens after that. But Divine, what do you think, man?
I'm gonna go 3-3 because I think on that West Coast trip, Alex Burks will be back. I think Tom Thibodeau will probably saving him for that West Coast trip.
Okay.
So if he come back, I'm gonna go 3-3 because I think we can win these next 2 games. I'm not saying we gonna. I know, and I think we can. But if he come back on that West Coast trip, warmer weather, the whole team gonna be glad to get out in LA to get out of this cold mess over here. I think we can go 3-3.
Okay. All right, Prince.
Like I said earlier, I think 2-4. If we can catch somebody slipping, I think we can definitely go 3-3. I don't know. I feel like that Utah game, it might be like a payback game. We owe them, but I am a little scared about Golden State.
They owe us.
Oh, did we? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, we ended up winning that game. So
yeah,
again,
we won. They owe us.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tight one. Yeah, it's gonna be a tight one. It's gonna be a tight one. So 2-4. Okay. I think 2-4 will be a good one. 1-1, like Queen Steph said, 1-5 will hurt us. That if we come back 1-5, I don't know what we may be looking at y'all coming back 1-5. We gotta get 2 of these. We gotta get.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Chop. Over the next 6 games, we play the Boston Celtics today. In a couple minutes, we play the Orlando Magic, Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, Portland Trailblazers, Utah Jazz. Tell me what your record is and what you think we do tonight, because we're about to get up out of here.
And salute to Steph. Blessings by me and the panel. I got to go with Prince. 2.
2-4. Do we win today?
It's going to be a scrappy battle, but maybe.
Okay. All right. I
Tatum
think
is out. So
Tatum's out.
Yeah, Tatum's out.
Yeah, Tatum's out. So
okay.
We only got Brown to deal with. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a scrappy battle tonight. I think the matchups are good for the Knicks. When we look at the matchups, I think the matchups are good. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we go 3-3 over these next 6. I'm gonna say we get Boston and Orlando, then we get Sacramento. That's what I'm going with right there. All right. Hopefully it starts tonight.
You gotta remember, man. CJ is gonna be out for Portland, so
CJ is gonna be out. That's right. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and get to the game.
You can go 4-2, Sim.
You said 4. Okay, so maybe that makes it 4-2.
No, you can swap. You can swap to 4-2, bro.
Yeah, right.
Go to the chat, hit them thumbs up for your boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let you guys get to the game. All right, we'll be back after the game. Make sure you get with us after the game in the post game so we can, talk about hopefully a win. All right, be easy. And if I don't see you during the post game, have a great rest of your Sunday. All right, but catch me at the post game, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get the notification. Stay looking forward. Spread love.